Thank you, Darian. You like that? I didn't get my other one. I have a little snag in it. I caught myself trying to get breakfast, fighting amongst all those hundreds of boys. Good evening, Jason. How are you this evening? We're going to get everybody checked on and get started here in a few minutes. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. Been a little warm. Hello, Tim. How are you today? Thanks for checking in. Grant made it back from Ireland. I hope you had a great trip. It looked exciting. Hello, Frank. They're from good old Belleville Lodge. Hope you're doing well. Brother Greg, thanks for checking in. Brothers, as we get guys checked in, we usually been trying to start um, 2 or 3 minutes after 7, just to make sure everybody that wants to get on live can get online live. So we'll be starting here a little bit. Mark Schaefer down at Rome Lodge. Good to see you, Mark. Rob Frank, a good brother of my lodge. Good to see you. I don't know if you're still on vacation, but I hope you had a good time. Brother Chris, how are you? And Brother Bill, the blacksmith. I'm going to try to call you tomorrow. I saw you wanted to talk to somebody, so I'll try to give you a call tomorrow. Brother Dills, thanks for checking in. Larry Gray from Hancock Lodge. And Dwayne, how are you? Hey, Stan Frank. Oh, and he's with his brother Rob. Brother Dirk, our PR and marketing guy. Thanks for checking in, Dirk. And Dwayne, my day was pretty good. Oh, and Mike Neely. Monty Thurman, thanks for checking in. Mike, I can't believe you're home if you're doing this from home. Brother Kirk. We'll give her one more minute, guys, and we'll get started. Brother Mark from down in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Brother Dave, thanks for checking in. They're piling up. That's great. That is awesome. I appreciate it so much. And Todd from my lodge, got a couple temple guys there. David Barton, Arlie, Ciano, the Peruvian Prince, My steward and Tyler. Hello, Jerry. Arlie and Larry Gray, 59 years. Is that as a Mason, Larry, or is that from chapter? Or both? And Daniel Pepper, it was great to see you at Conclave. Well, brothers, I think we're going to get started. First off, thank you so much for checking in. This has been fun for me, and it's a highlight of my week to talk about what's going on in our fraternity, the great fraternity of Indiana Freemasons. Such a wonderful group of brothers that we have in this fraternity, spread all over across the state. My brother, my actual brother from my same mother, checked in from Michigan. It's been a great week. It's been very busy. Grand Lodge officers has been out and about, and I've been out and about and ran into a lot of wonderful brothers. So on Tuesday, I was at Prince Lodge down in Princeton, Indiana, and they have a very interesting history, and was invited down by Neil Ward, the master of the lodge, to present a couple 50-year awards and a 50-year past master award. And I'll tell you, for me, that's one of the absolute highlights of being a Grand Lodge officer is presenting 50-year awards to dedicated Freemasons and see the look on their face, giving the presentation and to pin them is just such an honor. So I greatly appreciate the chance to have a visit. And I had my Southern Indiana Masonic family there. I had past Grand Master David Morgan, past Grand Master Kenny Roy, past Grand Master Bill Reiners, and I can't remember who else was there. But we had a great time. It was a wonderful visit. It was a great time. The next day, I traveled back down south to Evansville to Lessing Lodge, where we had an entered apprentice degree, and Lessing Lodge did a fabulous job. Great meal, great brotherhood, and always exciting. The entered apprentice degree is my favorite degree, so it was great to initiate a new brother into this fraternity. And he was very attentive, and the lodge did a fabulous job. They had a nice turnout, so it was a great time. See our senior grand deacon checked in. Hello, Dave. Um, then Thursday, this was really probably the highlight of my week. Thursday, I traveled to Wabash College in Crawfordsville, Indiana, which is a quick trip for me, just 27 miles from my house, for the opening of the DeMolay Conclave. And for those of you that aren't familiar with DeMolay, that is their annual meeting for the young men of DeMolay when they elect their officers, do ritual work. They have sporting events and ritual competitions. And I'll tell you, it was a wonderful, wonderful time being able to address the young men of DeMolay and the advisors. And I told them DeMolay is a very important part of our Masonic family, not just for the fact that we hope that DeMolays will become so infatuated with our fraternity, they will become Masons. And it's a gateway to Freemasonry, but the real gateway for the young men of DeMolay is that it's a gateway into manhood. The lessons and the precepts of DeMolay are beautiful, and they teach a young man how to be patriotic, how to be clean in his heart and his mind and in his body, how to honor and love his parents, and so many great lessons that coincide with the tenets of brotherly love, relief, and truth. And I'm just always so impressed by the young men of DeMolay from ages from 10, 12 years old all the way up to adulthood. Several of the DeMolays that were there were in the process of their degree work in Freemasonry, and many of them are Master Masons. And it's just, it was great. And I really want to talk about the advisors. The advisors, the boys call all the advisors dad, if appropriate, or mom for the lady advisors, and their dedication to DeMolay is just it's amazing. You know, it's not just one day a month. They're with these boys once a week, twice a week, several times a month, taking to them events, working on their ritual, helping them grow as young men. And I just want to thank every one of the advisors for the hard work that they do. So we had a great time at the opening. We had the Grand Commander, Joe Sparks, was there to speak. J.P. Cazares, the second in line, Yara Shine was there and spoke, and Eastern Star representative spoke, and all about how important it is as we build these young men. And what a great day. Then the following morning, I got up extra early, traveled back to Crawfordsville, first to have breakfast, because who doesn't like to have breakfast with about 100 hungry young boys and young men? And then they put on the Demolay ritual, and they did the Jacques Demolay play for their new class of young men coming in. They had 4 candidates, and it was an honor that they named the class after me. I was quite surprised by that, but it was an honor. I got to sit with the young men during the Demolay play and speak with them, and the boys that did the ritual. It's just so impressive that they delve themselves into this ritual. And we also took part in judging their ritual competition, and it's so much fun to watch the new members come in and start that ritual, and they struggle a little bit. And from the judges, they don't get harsh reactions. They get encouragement that you're taking the first step and you're learning and keep working and keep striving to be better. And it's just very impressive. Then on Saturday, we traveled to Newcastle, Indiana for their 175th rededication, another 175-year lodge. And worshipful brother Daryl, the master, and all the lodge officers of Newcastle did a phenomenal job, and all their ladies and their Eastern Star chapter of putting together this rededication and made everyone feel so welcome. There was well over 100 in attendance. They had a fine meal and reception at a local church down the road, and they just absolutely did a great job. Was a wonderful day for Freemasonry. There were several non-Masonic guests. The mayor of Newcastle was there and spoke highly of the lodge and his knowledge of the lodge and their dedication to the community. So it was actually a great time. And a couple highlights were Brother Perry, past Grand Master of California, was in attendance. He was born and raised in Newcastle, and his career took him away, but he has several family members still in Newcastle, so he made a special point to come to the rededication and made a presentation to the lodge. And it's hard to see behind my shoulder. I never know which way to move, but he brought me a miniature version of a plaque that was made by his son for the lodge, dedicating their 175 years. And he had some very wise, inspiring words to give to the lodge. And then I'm going to show you this because I haven't hung it up yet. The lodge, Newcastle Lodge brothers, one of their brothers, Brother Mike, made this beautiful clock for me for their dedication. So it was a very, very exciting day, and I will cherish this clock, and I greatly appreciate it. And all the Grand Lodge officers, we received an honorary membership. So it was a great week. Sunday, of course, that's family time. We try to make it family time, and went to our little church in Salisbury, Indiana, where I filled in for the pastor, which I get to do on occasion when he goes out of town. And after doing the message, we took the First Lady Mel's mom to lunch with some family of hers to a little restaurant, general store there called Yoho's Market. And while we were there, we were talking about my involvement in Freemasonry, and one of the relatives has said, well, her son and relatives were Masons. And while we were talking about that, I got up to get a drink and walked by a table, and a lady stopped me and said, were you just talking about Freemasonry? And I said, yes, I was. And I said, I'm the Grand Master of Masons of the state of Indiana. And she said, well, my dad's a Mason. And I said, oh, well, that's great. And she said, well, he's the master of his lodge in Columbus. And I said, St. John's Lodge? And she said, yes. And I said, is that Rick? And she said, yes, that's my dad. I said, I know him very well. So Freemasonry, is so wide and dispersed, you never know who you're going to meet. So she was sitting there with her husband, and I said, well, are you a Mason? And he said, no, I'm not. So not one to miss an opportunity, I pulled out one of our Follow Me to Freemasonry cards, and I handed it to him, and I said, now, No pressure. I'm not going to ask you to join or tell you that, your father-in-law's a Mason, you should be a Mason. I said, but I'd like you to take this card, and I'd like you to follow that QR code and look at our film, When is a Man a Mason? And I want you to think about it. And if you have any questions, ask your father-in-law or reach out to somebody else, because this is a wonderful fraternity, and it was just great to, by happenstance, to meet somebody in that setting. So you just never know. So we always have to be ready to promote this great fraternity. Last week we talked about sending cards to residents at the home, at our Indiana Masonic home. And those cards can be sent. I got to pull up the address. Attention to Mike Spencer, the director of the Indiana Masonic home. And I think it's 690 State Street, 690 South State Street, Franklin, Indiana, 46131. And I'm sure that Brother Daring or Brother Dirk will make a comment on here with that address, so you don't have to write it down right away. But our residents need encouragement. It's great for them to get cards, to get letters, to get notes. Make sure you put your name and your lodge number in them so they know where they're coming from. And Mike will disperse those to the activity staff, to those residents that really need cheering up. So I'm going to commit myself to sending 5 cards this week. And I'd like you to do the same. Send out a couple cards. You can get them at the Dollar Tree. Postage is still only 78 cents. I think it's just getting ready to go up, but it's a very inexpensive way to let one of our brothers or one of our ladies know that we love them. I also talked about last week of visiting a resident at the skilled nursing center, Brother David Maloney. And I didn't say it then because of HIPAA regulations, and we have to be careful about letting medical information out. But Brother David was in hospice care, and I'd been struggling for a long time, and we had such a wonderful visit and a great conversation. And he passed away yesterday, and it was such a great opportunity to be able to visit with him. And Brother Mike Steele from Jubilee Lodge had told me about him, and it encouraged me to visit him. And I'm so glad, Mike, that you did that, because we had such a nice visit, and he was so happy there, and he was so happy with his care, and he was just in such good spirits. So he's laid down his working tools and translated to that celestial lodge above, to whose bourne no traveler returns. And my point of telling you that is that oftentimes we pass up the opportunity to take a few minutes to go visit somebody, or to give somebody a phone call, to reach out to a brother. And then we go, well, I'm kind of busy this week. Maybe next week I'll do that. And I've done it myself. And the opportunity passes by. Don't let the opportunity pass you by. Reach out to your brothers. You hear somebody that needs a phone call. You think somebody might need a visit. I spend so much time in the car. Sometimes my mind will fill up, and all of a sudden somebody's name will pop into my head. I ought to give them a call. Give them a call. Go out and visit our brothers and let them know that we love them and that we care for them. It's so important. This week, Brother Dave Hosler, our junior Grand Deacon, presented at Charles F. Frank Lodge the new 357 program that we've talked a little bit about. You're going to see more about that on social media. It is now in the Lodge portal and member portal. You open up the resources page and it says Follow Me to Freemasonry. Click on that and it's there. But the 357 program was very well received. He sent out an email to everybody that we're getting requests for Grand Lodge officers. We're going to train the Lodge liaisons on the 357 program, or you could open that up and self-assess. But I think it's something that's going to be really key to strengthening our lodges. Even great lodges can learn a little something from it. And it's using all of our research that we've already done, all the resources that we already have. So Brian Mullins just commented on 357 there, and I know Brian was there. So maybe you can type in a review, Brian, what you think, so everybody can see it. And then, brothers, I want you to have a good week. We've got a lot of other exciting things coming out. Tomorrow you're going to hear or see some social media on our Grand Master's reception. That is September 13th. I'll let you know that we're so happy, the First Lady and I, the tickets are selling very, very quickly. And and if you would like to go, we're selling tables of 8. We're also selling individual tickets and couples. If you go to followmetofreemasonry.com, you'll see the store and the link there. There's a link for a hotel room. You can have a great weekend with your lady and celebrating Indiana Freemasonry. The hotel will have a hospitality room. We'll go to the banquet. We'll come back to the hospitality room and breakfast with the Grand Master in the morning. So please sign up for that. Sign up quick because it's going fast. We're going to have some wonderful entertainment, and it's going to be a great time to showcase Freemasonry and all the great charities that we have and all the great things that we do. With that, brothers, I just want you to have a great week. And we're slowing down a little bit for summer, but there's still a lot of degree work going on. I know there's a lot of 4th of July degrees in the morning all across the state. So reach out and go to lodge. More importantly, reach out to a brother that you haven't talked to for a while. Reach out to some of your out-of-state members and let them know that, hey, we know you can't make it to lodge, but you're still our brother, and we still think about you, and we still care about you. And arm yourselves with our cards, especially during the festival time, with our military cards and with our Follow Me to Freemasonry cards. If you need more, Stephanie from the Grand Lodge office will be glad to send them out. And let's build this great fraternity because Freemasons have made my life better. I can guarantee you that. Can absolutely have made my life better. And I think my family's life better and all those around me better. So the more brothers we have, the better our world's going to be. So go out and talk about this great fraternity. Be the kind of man that other men want to be. And beyond that, be the kind of Mason that other Masons want to be, because mentoring is so important in this fraternity. It doesn't just start and end with the ritual work. It's the whole encompassing package of who we are. Brothers, I greatly appreciate it. Have a great week. Stay cool. And if you need anything, you know where to reach out. Thank you so much for checking in. It's been a great time to spend with you, and I hope the rest of your evening is blessed. Good night, everybody.